Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. So today I wanted to unbox my newest CGC 9.8 comic and show it to the team. And I'm so happy I ended up picking this one up. Yeah, this book, it's a legit investment grade CGC 9.8 and I was able to get it for a pretty reasonable price. And yeah, I say reasonable price, it still was pretty expensive, but yeah, for how limited this one is on the census, I think it kind of makes sense. But another thing too is when you sort of look at the whole landscape of CGC 9.8s right now, I think there's a lot of 9.8s that are more expensive than this one in the 9.8, but I think are arguably not as good of an investment grade book or just not as cool as this book either. So yeah, this one, if you're into this character, this is definitely a great underfollowed one to consider. So let's get into all the details here. Yeah, it's an Incredible Hulk CGC 9.8. And I did boil it down here into 3 reasons why I ended up grabbing this one. So let's get into some of the details. Newest addition to the collection is an Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. And we did feature this one on a couple videos here in the last month. But Incredible Hulk Annual number 5 is the second appearance of Groot. And we'll get into some of the details about that appearance. But let's look on the census here in the CGC 9.8. There's a 36 CGC 9.8s in the blue label out there, so kind of a 1 of 36 is just so awesome as like a Groot fan and a Guardians of the Galaxies fan. And looking at the 9.8 ratio, it's a 9.6%. So you love to see a single digit 9.8 ratio. I talk about those occasionally. That's the most rarest books are in the single digits. So of all graded copies, only 9.6% of them are CGC 9.8s for Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. Second appearance of Groot, I did mention there, and the first appearance of Groot is in Tales to Astonish number 13 from 1960. There was a reprint of that too in another comic book. I didn't write that one down, but there was a reprint of that one, and certainly some people regard that reprint as the second appearance, but it is the exact same reprint of Tales to Astonish 13. So this really goes down as sort of the legit true second appearance of Groot, albeit 16 years after his first appearance. So, you know, I've heard a lot of people sort of call this one his first modern appearance, which I think is actually kind of fair. So yeah, just a great underfollowed one if you're a Guardians of the Galaxies fan or a Groot fan. And yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxies, I'm sort of on the record as like I didn't really know about them at all before the MCU movies, but they did such a great job. Like I really, really loved both Volume 1 and Volume 2 Guardians of the Galaxy MCU movies. So this one kind of fits right into my collection from that perspective. But yeah, in Tales to Astonish 13, that really is just one of my favorite Silver Age books, I think. Like, if I ever get into Silver Age books, that's really going to be on my sort of first short list of want list to buy. So let's get into the price for Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. Yeah, so I ended up paying in this one in an auction, and it was, yeah, about a month ago now the auction ended. Took a little bit of time to get to me here in Canada. I ended up grabbing it for $405 in the CGC 9.8. So, you know, when I saw this one pop up on auction, you know, I was doing some price research, and Go Collect has the fair market value for this one at $290. So obviously $405 is a lot more than $290. I wasn't seeing any completed listings on eBay to sort of find another completed listing to do some price research kind of thing. And you know, that $290, I'm almost positive, that was sort of before the market really kind of took off with the whole coronavirus thing, where CGC 9.8s are really kind of heating up for sure. So I knew it would probably go for more than that. So $405 I think is a decent deal, but not a great deal. And I think maybe in the long term that might end up being a pretty great deal, because yeah, just a 1 of 36 in that single digit 9.8 ratio. You get Jack Kirby and Frank Giacoia doing the cover art on this one too. So just classic artists there, classic Marvel artists, and Jack Kirby doing the cover. And the cover kind of grows on you. There's a lot going on, but you certainly get a nice spot of Groot there, and it's definitely got kind of some classic cover potential, I think. So let's get into those 3 reasons of why I pulled the trigger on this book. So the first one, I think the timing was right. So from a couple perspectives, I think the first one is that, you know, there's only 36 of these out there, and I saw one pop up with cheap shipping, reasonable cheap shipping to Canada. So it was one to consider just because of that. So in that sense, the timing was right. But also too, we're in between Guardians of the Galaxy movies right now. So, obviously, I probably wouldn't recommend to kind of buy this book sort of, right after the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer drops or something like that. Or if everyone's loving the movie and it's out in theater, like in those situations and environments, you probably want to be patient. But since there's no movies out and there's probably not a lot of buzz or hype generating right now for Guardians of the Galaxies, I thought from that perspective the timing was right too. So, I probably would have liked to get this one maybe a little bit closer to 300, but just given the rarity and given the hot 9.8 market right now, I think 405 is actually a fair price. And I'm always happy when I just get a fair price for a really great investment grade comic, and I do think this is a legit investment grade comic book. So number one, yeah, the timing was right. Number two, I really love Groot and Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, so this goes so well with my collection because I have the first appearance of Star-Lord in comic books. That's, Marvel Spotlight number 6, like version 2, number 6, Marvel Spotlight. I also have Incredible Hulk 271, first Rocket Raccoon comic book appearance. So yeah, this just fits so good into my collection because I do really like the Guardians of the Galaxies. And I got the first new team Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy number 1, 2008. That's a really, another cool CGC 9.8. So yeah, this just fits right into my collection, being a big Guardians of the Galaxies and Groot fan. And the third reason here of why I pulled the trigger is it looks pretty amazing on the census. Like, yeah, to be a big Groot fan and Guardians of the Galaxy fan, and to have only 36 of these out there in the 9.8, that's a great feeling to sort of have a 1 of 36. Mix in there the single-digit 9.8 ratio, which you almost kind of expect. This is a 1976 book. It's an old one. So you almost expect a single-digit 9.8 ratio, but still, not all of them are single-digit 9.8s during this time, but yeah, only of all graded copies, only 9.6% of them are CGC 9.8s, and then there's only 36 of these out there in the 9.8. This one being a white pages, of course, in a nice new case, looking really good too. That's, yeah, just talking about the order, it really, the pictures looked good, so I expected a good comic, and yeah, just really nice and flat, looks fantastic, case is flawless. Yeah, so kind of lucked out in that way for sure. But yeah, you know what, being such a big Groot fan and a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, and how it sort of fitted in right into my collection, it was definitely one to kind of go after, I think, for myself. Now, I will sort of recommend here, if you're, maybe not the hugest Guardians of the Galaxy fan, and, you're not a big Groot fan or whatever it might be, but you still might want to look at some of the first appearances type of thing, I would recommend Tales to Astonish 13. Like, that is, to me, one of the best Silver Age books that you can get. And there's a really good price history to it. Like, it's done well pricing. Whereas this one, I think basically since that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie came out, this one's kind of stalled out in price a little bit. Now, I just love the comic, love the character. I'll get great pride of ownership out of this, even whether it goes up or down. But yeah, if you are looking for more of an investment grade book, I would kind of forego this one, to be honest, and go for Tales to Astonish number 13. And yeah, I sort of, stick to the kind of bronze, copper, modern age, but if I ever get into Silver Age books, Tales to Astonish 13 is like right in my top 5 Silver Age books to buy. Yeah, it's such a great book. It has a really good price history of, increasing in price really good. Okay, yeah, I wanted to make that a quick point because, yeah, I do think it being the second appearance, Tales to Astonish 13, probably the better investment grade book. Obviously, you can't get that in the CGC 9.8. But for me, this one just fits right in. I should have brought out my first Rocket Raccoon and first Star-Lord, and I'm just kind of thinking about that right now. And my Guardians of the Galaxy's number 1 from 2008, the first new team Guardians of the Galaxy. So I really have a lot of the new team Guardians of the Galaxy books in the CGC 9.8, which is a great feeling. So yeah, it fits right into my collection. Alright, that'll be it for the video today. Just a quick unbox. Yeah, Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. If you're a big Groot fan, it's one to consider. Tales to Astonish 13, one to buy if you're into Silver Age books. Absolutely one to buy. But yeah, really happy I could share this one with everyone. If you haven't already, I would invite you to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8. Yeah, would love to have you on our comic book collecting and comic book investing team. Hit the bell for all the latest notifications. Add me on Instagram and Twitter as well. And all the links are in the description below for that. But yeah, Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. Just a really great 9.8. That's extremely rare, and yeah, I think just a classic cover. I'm gonna get some really good pride of ownership from this one, but maybe one to consider if you're the hugest Guardians fan like I am. But yeah, as I said, I do have that feeling that you know, this one, it's almost more of a collector item in a sense, even though it does look so good on the census. I think most people will gravitate toward Tales to Astonish number 13, but I'm ecstatic. It just goes so well with all my other 9.8s of my first appearance of the Guardians, kind of. Yeah, so ecstatic to have an Incredible Hulk Annual number 5. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Just a quick unbox today. Really appreciate all the support. And if you do have any questions or anything, you can certainly message me on Instagram. Probably the easiest way to get a hold of me and ask me whatever you might want. So thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you on the next one.